What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back for another review of The Impact Atlanta. This is Season 2, Episode 4, and the episode is titled, It's Giving Delusional, Babe. And let's get right into this review. So, we are back in Miami, so you already know when we see Miami, that means that we're going to be with Ari. So, this scene actually surprised me because we saw Ari at a plastic surgeon's office because she's thinking of getting her boobs done again. Now, this will be her 5th possible surgery. She's already said that she has a built-in bra attached to her ribs. Ma'am, I think that you're done. I don't think you need to go under the knife anymore unless you're going to be getting a reduction. Nonetheless, she's talking to her friend, and they talk about how, she's pretty stressed out about the break-ins, and she's trying to figure out if she's going to move to Miami. And she wants to possibly move to Miami just so that way she can be closer to Mario, who is her man. And they have a balance, her words, not mine, of not seeing each other because she's really busy in whatever she's doing. And then he's busy because he's always on the road. He's a rapper. So it sounds like their lifestyles are both continuously on the go. So her friend goes on to talk about how he recently had a breakup and he was in an 8-year relationship and now he's starting over. He's single. And Ari is like, after seeing my friend go through his breakup, it just basically showed her a lot because they were tied together, okay? Her friend and his partner, they had businesses together, houses together. They had pretty much established a lot together. And you already know when breakups happen, now you got to start dividing stuff, selling off things. It becomes a whole thing. And according to Ari, she doesn't want to do that, okay? She does not want to possibly break up with somebody and then you have to divide up properties and money and all of this. So I'm like, okay, fine. This means that you and Moneybagg Yo, y'all both plan on keeping everything separate. Everything. Okay, girl, if that's what you want, even though later on you're calling him, joking around or not, to see if he'll buy you a house. Okay, girl. So let's go ahead and move on to Des. There was not much to this scene, and that was her cleaning out her closet. Okay, she was cleaning out her closet, and she briefly talked about how she has a cooking class planned with her mom, and her mom is planning to move to Atlanta, so this could be good for them to rebuild their relationship. Carly was briefly mentioned, but Des is not thinking about that girl. So let's move on to Tay. Because Tay, he ends up meeting up with a realtor, and he is looking for a place to rent in New York. So Dream Doll, she's supposed to be meeting him or whatever, but we do see him take a look at the house. The house is really nice, but the price is absolutely ridiculous. You can either pay $2.4 million or pay $17,000 per month. That's so high. I'm sorry. It's absolutely crazy. But Tay can afford it because his budget was $15,000. And I'm just like, well, that's not, cheap at all. So Dream Doll, she finally shows up. And, she tells him that this place looks nice, but he doesn't really like it, okay? I don't think that place was really his vibe. And on top of that, he's used to having a very large home. And in New York, baby, you are not going to get that. Sorry to tell you. Because he wants more space. So they talk about how he is ready to take these next steps in his life. He's always been so scared to do stuff. But now he is ready to move on. He feels like he's been there, done that with Atlanta, and he's ready for new territory. And he thinks that New York will be the perfect place for that. So here's the thing, though. He hasn't even told his mom, okay? So this is a really big deal for him. So Dream, she's like, Tucson, he's going to miss you. But Tay, he feels like Tucson has his own things going on. And I'm just like, well, that means that's the perfect time for you to, make this transition. Especially considering Tucson is not going to always be your assistant because Tucson has his own dreams. So they talk about Carly. And Dream Doll, she basically feels like, there should be a place where these two can come in, say whatever they have to say, and just have a conversation. And I agree. They can probably have a conversation, but that still don't mean that they're going to be friends. Now we see Carly, and she's talking to, I want to say, it was her manager and one of her friends or whatever. And she talks about what she has going on. So she's planning a photo shoot for her swimwear line. I did not know that Carly had a swimwear line. I kind of wish that she would have led with that when we met her this season. Or maybe I needed to do more research on these people. Nonetheless, she says that she's nervous because there's a lot of swim lines out there right now. And I'm like, girl, there have always been a lot of swimwear lines. What are you talking about? But what sets you apart is the fact that she said that she designs all her own stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, that's dope. Because a lot of times you do have people who are doing like wholesale, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that you're designing your stuff, good for you, girl. So she goes on to talk about how, she met up with Tucson and she feels like he don't mess with her. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. He don't. So stop trying to make fetch happen. So her friends, they think that it's someone in his ear. And I'm just like, there is nobody in Tucson's ear. I just think that he don't like Jerika, as he likes to call her. So she talks about potentially talking to Tay at the promo shoot that all of the cast will be at. So let's go ahead and move on. Like I mentioned earlier, Ari went to go look for a home in Miami, and baby, this house was everything. Like, she's literally looking at a nice waterfront property in Miami. Y'all, the price tag was $13 million, okay? Now, I did not know that Ari had money like that. Hell, I didn't know that Moneybag Yo would even have money like that. So she thinks that this house will be so great for her. She's going to bring her mom there. Her son will be there. And next thing you know, she gets on the phone. She calls Mario to show him the house. And like I said earlier, asks if he will be able to buy it for her. And he says yes. But in her confessional, she's like, I have my own money. I can get things on my own. And I'm just like, but can you get that house on your own? Because, I'm sorry, $13 million? Baby, that's a lot. But let's go ahead and move on to Dez. So, I feel like this is one of the better scenes that we got of Dez. Just because it was actually something going on. No offense, because that little closet scene, it wasn't giving anything. Now, we see her and her mom, they are at this cooking class. So, at one point, they were low-key talking about Future. And I guess Dez and Future are a thing. I did not know that. I'm kind of questioning how old is Dez in comparison to Future. Like, what is that age gap? Because Dez looks hella young. But nonetheless, her mom, she feels like sometimes Dez can get a little bit disrespectful. Now, Dez, she does apologize. And they talk about her brother's and his death yet again. Again, like I mentioned in my previous reviews, I want these two ladies to go to therapy because I think therapy would be so helpful for both of them. Not only them dealing with their own feelings regarding to their brother and son, but also just how to navigate, in each other's spaces. Nonetheless, Dez, she recounts what happened that night, and her mom, it seems like she still feels that maybe if Dez would have answered the phone, things would have been different. But Dez, she does express to her mom how difficult it has been with their relationship. And the mom, she receives it and she apologized. As for Dez and her mom, I just really hope that at some point, maybe they are having therapy sessions and they're not airing it on the show. But I just really hope that they get the help that they need. I do love the fact that her mom was receptive, in knowing that, hey, you have other kids that you kind of neglected once you lost your son. And, I feel like the mom does want to do better. Now, let's go ahead and move on because we see Carly And she's the first one to arrive to the photo shoot. Then we see everybody else start to pile in. So Ari and Carly, they have a little conversation and they feel like, we just all need to have a group meeting. And I'm just like, and what is that going to do? Because, again, nobody likes Carly. So later we see Ari and Tucson. So they talk about Tay always being late. You have Tucson being absolutely obsessed with Ari. And they talk about what happened between Carly and Tucson. So you can already tell that he has no interest in Carly. Tay finally shows up with a Tupperware full of food. And he said that he showed up late so he could avoid the drama. I'm just like, Tay seems so far removed from these people. Like, I'm sorry. I understand that what they were trying to go for with this show. Maybe I should have watched season 1. But this show, it needs some work. I don't know if it's that these people have lives that they're not trying to show everything in it or what. But this show needs some work. Nonetheless, let me get back on topic. So like I said, Tay is there, and now that means the whole cast is there, okay? Alright, so at one point we do see Tay. He is in a fitting in the wardrobe room, right? And next thing you know, Carly, she ends up going into the same wardrobe room. She's low-key going there just so that way she can talk to Tay. However, he was actually in the back changing, so she ended up talking to the stylist or whatever. And then she ended up leaving because Tay did not come out, okay? Tay was not trying to have a conversation with this girl. He literally waited until she left to come out of that changing room. And I'm just like, yo, Carly, I don't know how you're going to survive making it another season on this show unless there's like a drastic turnaround, because her not having no friends on the show, it's really not working. Like, it's not. But nonetheless, we see Des. She ends up FaceTiming her brother. And they talk about, what happened at the cooking class with their mom. And here's the thing. I did not realize that her brother tried to call all of his siblings and none of them answered. I can't lie, that's a bit crazy how none of them happened to answer the phone that night. And it's really sad. But I'm really hoping that that family gets some healing. And I hope that they are able to honestly come together, you know what I'm saying, out of genuine love. Now, let's go ahead and move on. So we finally get to see this photo shoot start to happen. Everybody is looking really good. We see Carly. She comes around, y'all. Now, keep in mind, in the room, you have Tay, Ari, Tucson, a bunch of they people, Tay's sister, all these people. Carly comes in. She says hi to Tay, says hi to his sister, and baby, that room was silent. Okay? Nobody spoke. Nobody said anything to her. Like, at this point, it's embarrassing seeing Carly keep trying to come around these people who do not like her. It is, like, super embarrassing. And I hate that for her. Like, I don't even know her, but I really do hate that for her. So Ari, she tries to, like, because there's so much tension. She tries to, like, break all that up. So she's like, hey, I heard that you, when you left the meeting with Tucson, you were like, yeah, I'm taking my ostrich bag and I'm going to leave or whatever. And Tucson, he goes on to tell the story again of how she didn't want to give him her number and how they crossed paths later and she ended up giving him the number because she knew that she signed up to be on this show, basically. Now, she tells him that he makes things toxic and all of this stuff, right? Because they're going back and forth at this point. Tucson, he ends up going to take his photos, and Carly is in the room still trying to clear her name in front of everybody. So Tay, he thinks that it's fishy that after the whole phone thing, Tucson was still hanging with her in the car. So it's low-key giving like you was fake, because why would you still go hang out with her? Now, here's my take. I feel like timing plays a big part in this, and nobody's mentioning at what point did these things occur. Because here's my question. I wonder if did the phone thing happen as far as her not giving up her number? Did that happen when she was still cool with Tay? Because I feel like if that happened when she was still cool with Tay, I feel like Tucson probably was like, okay, I'm just Tay's assistant. She don't want to rock with me like that, do no type of music. It is what it is, but I still have to, keep a pretty good rapport with her because she's cool with my good friend. And on top of that, like I mentioned in one of my other reviews, that is very industry code for I don't want to work with you. That's what that is. That is industry code for I don't want to work with you, but we can still be cool. Like, I'm not going to give you my phone number, but we can still party. We can pop bottles. We can do all of this, but I'm just not on that level with you. Like, I honestly am still on Tucson's side with this, because it seems to me like this probably happened, like I said, when Tucson was really working with Tay like that. And also, Tucson seems to have always been the friend of somebody. He's the friend of Tay. He's the friend of Ari. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's never always been like the main guy. So if you are always the friend of the important people, yeah, people sometimes will disregard you because they're like, you're not that important. Nonetheless, Carly, she says, oh, because, like me and Tay, we need to have a conversation one-on-one. And then she gets up and she leaves the room. So his sister was like, are you going to go talk to her? And he was like, no, I'm not going over there to talk to her. Again, I have no idea why Carly is here. Like, I need to see her and Lakia going to do a pottery class or something, because watching her attempt to beg to be these people's friends, it's disgusting at this point. I'm just saying. But y'all, let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.